All right, let's bring in Multnomah County's new district attorney, Nathan Vasquez. He's joining us live on his second day leading that office. Nathan, thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity to speak with you.
All right, let's jump right in. Today during that news conference, you said something that caught my attention, and that's people caught using drugs on public transit will not be offered deflection. Now, for people who don't know, that's the option of treatment over jail for those caught solely with possession, no other warrants or things like that. So Nathan, why doesn't that option apply to people using on public transit?
Well, we're talking a lot about a lot different behavior here. This isn't just simple possession. This is actually using a very dangerous substance in a confined area that is endangering other people. And it doesn't mean that because someone's not getting deflection, that they are not in some way going to be helped. And so I want to be clear about that. There's still going to be opportunities for probation, opportunities for treatment, and really opportunities to intervene and help those individuals.
So I have to ask you, though, is your stance here because that's what you think those who voted for you would want, or is it what you think is best for those violating this law?
Well, let's take it back to this is what the legislature decided. And to be clear, though, we're talking about actions which are endangering others. And so my stance is very clear. I think that individuals that are endangering, people that are trying to get to work, kids that are trying to go to school, they need to be held accountable. And they need a greater level of intervention. And this intervention doesn't mean that they're not going to get treatment. In fact, it means the opposite. We're going to be stepping in, taking actions to actually get them connected with services. So it's a higher level of intervention that I think is warranted in this situation.
And I hear you on that, but some people may see this as a way to criminalize addiction, just as the way it stands right now. What do you have to say to those folks?
Well, again, this is a decision that our state legislature made. And it's one certainly that I stand by. And it's not criminalizing the addiction. It's the behavior and the actions that people are taking. Because, we are talking about individuals that are using a very dangerous substance in a confined space with people who are just trying to get to work, people that are trying to get to school, to go about their daily lives. And, certainly when we talk about that, people have no right to really endanger the lives of others. And so when we're talking about what's been criminalized, it's the action and the behavior that is really the dangerous part here.
So today you promised to prosecute these cases. Walk us through that process from, say, the train to when it gets to your office, and then what happens from there?
Yeah, absolutely. So when an individual is caught in this behavior, taking these actions, police, in this case, it would be the Multnomah County Sheriff's Office, would arrest them. They'd be brought to our local county jail. They'd be processed. A judge would potentially make a decision about whether or not they would be held or released. And then my office would review the case for criminal charges. Then, once an individual is charged, they would have a decision to make. They could certainly take it to trial. They have every right to do that. Or if they choose, they could also, decide to plead guilty, and we would work out an agreement. And in that situation, what will happen in 99% of the cases is that those individuals will be offered services and probation and an opportunity to really get connected with treatment opportunities and stability in our community. And that's when we're talking about what we want to see and what we want to do is we want to find a pathway to get someone to sobriety, to get them to a healthy life and get them back to being a productive citizen in our community.
But let's be real here. Does your office have the resources to prosecute cases like this?
Absolutely.
Or do you have to focus on, say, more serious things like felonies?
So, of course, my office is dedicated to prosecuting serious felonies and person crimes, but these are not complex cases. When we're talking about this, and in particular with TriMet, we're 99% of these are going to be on video. Officers are going to be on scene, and we're going to put these cases together, and we can handle them, and we will.
All right, Nathan, thank you for joining us. We will definitely be watching how all of this unfolds.
Absolutely. Thank you.